Holy smokes, guys. Crazy stuff is going on in Survivor 49. We had a freak elimination in episode 3 that throws a massive wrench into my contender rankings for this season. So I'm going to have to put in a lot of extra thought this week to figure out my contender rankings for Survivor 49 and give each and every person an Edgic rating based on the type of edit they have gotten in this episode 3. If you don't know how Edgic works, basically Edgic is a system used to analyze the style of edit that every single character in a given episode of Survivor receives in that episode, and then it is used to attempt to predict how their story will move forward in future episodes. There are 3 different parts to an Edgic rating. The first part is the type of edit. There are 4 different types of edit, technically 4.5, 5 parts. The first part is under the radar, which is often abbreviated as UTR, which means you didn't see very much of them in the episode. The second part is MOR, which stands for middle of the road, which means you saw a little bit of them, but they weren't super fleshed out as a character. Third is CP, which stands for complex personality, which means you saw a good amount of that person and they were very fleshed out as a character. And the fourth part is OTT, which stands for over the top, which means you saw an excessive amount of them in the episode. There's also INV, which stands for invisible, which is a unique rating where you basically didn't see them whatsoever at all in the episode. The second part is the visibility. No, the second part is the tone of the edit. It can either be a P added on to the end of the rating, which stands for a positive leaning tone. It can be an N added on to the end, which stands for a negative leaning tone. It could be M for mixed tone, which means you get a little bit of both positive and negative into one episode. Or it can be just no extra letter added on for no tone, neutral tone, nothing special going on there. And finally, this is the visibility scale, which is the number at the end of the rating in every quadrant on the spreadsheet, which is basically just a visibility scale from 1 to 5 on how much screen time they got in the episode. 1 meaning they were barely in the episode, 5 meaning they got a lot of screen time in the episode. And so here we are in week 3. We lost 2 people in this episode, 2 Canadians on the blue tribe, both going out here, Jake and Jeremiah. Of course, Jake getting medevaced and then Jeremiah being voted out as a subsequent result of that. I mean, this was, I don't know if I would say this was totally unexpected, but it definitely wasn't what I thought would happen. I feel like we've gotten so much of the Kella tribe thus far on the season. It was a little bit shocking to lose 2 of them this quickly. I mean, we're already down to only 2, those being Alex and Sophie, who are both big characters in the edit. I think both are looking pretty good edgically so far. But to lose both Jake and Jeremiah, I thought if Jake gets medevac, surely Blue is going to win immunity and we'll lose someone else. But no, we lose both of them here. I did say I wasn't sure about the Jake medevac last week. I mean, it seemed too obvious to me, but that's just what it was. It did end up going in that direction. And I did say that Jeremiah seemed to be on the bottom of that tribe. He probably was going to get voted out no matter what. I do, for me, I kind of think they shouldn't have had to go to tribal. Jake got medevaced. That's their vote out. You know, I just feel like it messes up the whole schedule even. Like, I don't really know why they made them go to tribal. I mean, I guess, you know, they had to do the challenge. You know, they're not going to cut out the immunity challenge. So something needs to happen. I don't know. I just feel like it's just rough to make them vote out another person here, especially when it could have been someone else. Now, Jeremiah probably would have been voted out whether Jake left or not in this situation. So, I mean, I can't feel too upset about that. But, I mean, imagine if Alex or Sophie went here, who both probably would have been very safe had Jake stayed. I mean, that would have been a big upset to see one of them go as a result of this freak medevac. But, you know, Jeremiah goes, who was probably on the bottom anyways. not too surprising. However, losing both Jake and Jeremiah takes a big hit to my contender rankings, which we will get to at the end of the episode, or I mean halfway through, I guess. But yeah, I mean this is definitely a big shakeup here. I mean, generally, my feelings on how the season's been going, it's been slow. It's been a pretty slow start. I mean, the Jake stuff was very fascinating. I think it was really cool to get to see the handbook, the Survivor handbook. We got to see base camp. We got to see like Jeff basically like do a confessional to the camera. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff. Like, this was more of just like a behind the scenes of Survivor episode though, than an episode where I was actually intrigued about what was happening Survivor wise, because man, oh man, I mean, this season it's tough. My big complaint right now is that it feels like all three tribes think they're the Vibe Tribe, okay? All the tribes are like, yep, we're the Vibe Tribe this season. You know, hey, every season's got to have a Vibe Tribe, and that's us this time. But the problem is that they all think that. So they all don't do anything. They're all just vibing and get along with each other. And all three tribes, you look at the idol hunts, the entire tribe is involved in the idol hunt on all three tribes. And they all share. Everybody knows where the idols are on all the tribes. And I mean, they don't know what's going on the other tribes, but it's just really irritating to have all the tribes be like, yep, we're the Vibe Tribe. I mean, this has not typically been the case. I mean, even tribes that got along in the past still had like a kind of intense strategy and stuff going on. I mean, you know, look at Loggy from last season. Although they all got along, they were continually winning, they really had nothing to worry about. They were still like really strategizing. There was still like a lot of tension kind of in the group. It was like, is the California girl sticking together? Is it going to be Bianca or Eva as the third? Everyone's kind of got like or as the fourth, everyone's kind of got a duo. Star's on the outs, but then Star gets the beware advantage. And then it's like, are we going to rip up the advantage? Or like, what are we going to do? I mean, there was still a lot going on there. I mean, like Siva was maybe a little bit more vibey. There wasn't as much tension there. Siva was probably the Vibe Tribe there. But we definitely did not get two Vibe Tribes, let alone basically three, because even the Disaster Tribe this season is kind of a Vibe Disaster Tribe, in the sense that they all just kind of get along and none of them want to vote each other out, and they're nothing really interesting is happening. We don't have a say on this tribe to cause chaos, right? But the closest we had was the freaking Shoe Bandit, who we lost here. So it's tough. It's been tough, but we're chugging along here, and we'll keep doing our Edgic nonetheless. We'll probably get through it pretty quickly this week because there's not much to talk about. So let's get into it. Jake in this episode, for an Edgic rating, I think I gotta give Jake, I think, an OTTPP, which is very rare, okay? An over-the-top positive. There's very rare double ratings for positive and negative for when something is so excessive, like it transcends the game. And I kind of feel like that was the case here with Jake. It felt so excessively positive for him. Like, they loved him. He was the heart of the tribe. The tribe fell apart without him. He has to go home and see his unborn child and all this stuff. I mean, this was a huge send-off for Jake. I feel like I gotta go with an OTTPP here. I mean, otherwise you could do an OTTP, but I'm feeling like this was a double positive here. If we look at how many confessionals he got, he only got 2 confessionals this episode, which is kind of insane to me, but I guess he didn't really have a whole lot of time to record confessionals because he was getting medevaced. So I won't go a 5 on it just because it wasn't that many confessionals, but I think I'll go with 4, an OTTPP 4. I mean, it just felt like this episode was all about Jake, really, right? So I think that's where I got to go with it there. Jeremiah, I mean, this was a fine episode for Jeremiah. If we look back at the confessional charts, 3 confessionals. I mean, like, generally, I mean, this didn't feel that different to the other episodes for Jeremiah for me. I mean, I felt like, honestly, it felt like kind of a weak send-off episode. I felt like Jeremiah, I was excited about how he was being built up, and then this was kind of it. Like, this was kind of like ka-thunk, like he's gone now. And I was like, oh, I wish we got a bigger send-off for Jeremiah, especially since the episode felt like it was so focused around the story of Jake. Even though, Jake goes out halfway through the episode, his sense lingered on. And I felt like I would have liked more from Jeremiah here. So, I mean, I'm feeling probably a straightforward I don't think this was positive or negative, really, for Jeremiah. He only just kind of got voted out by default because there were barely any options. I mean, we could go maybe a complex personality 4 on it, because this was so much a Kelly tribe episode, again, like every episode is pretty much so far, that I feel like I would give more than a 3, but not. I mean, it wasn't excessive. It's borderline 4 from a 3. And then we'll hop up to the top of the list and go down and rank everybody in alphabetical order. Alex, big episode for Alex. We got a lot from him. Talking about, losing Jake. Talking about will he play his idol or not. I don't think there was really tone here for Alex either. I mean, they wanted to vote him out and kind of blindside him, but I don't really think there was much it wasn't like negative really. It was just like, we're number ones and we probably got to vote out Alex if we want to stay number ones. But also, he's got an idol, and we don't have to deal with that. It didn't really feel like it was, like, negative or positive to me. I think this is probably just, I think the same rating that he had last time. Probably a complex personality 4. And if we look at his confessionals, 6 confessionals here. That's pretty significant. But, yeah, I think just straightforward there. Moving on to Jason on the Hina tribe. Finally, we got a Jason confessional. We did not get to see Jason at all last episode. I believe we got 2 Jason confessionals according to the chart here from Just Strategic. Where is Jason? 2 confessionals. It's fine. I don't think we got a ton. I probably would give him middle of the road. I don't think there was really tone here because no one really talked about Jason. I think it's probably just a middle of the road 2. I mean, there wasn't much. Again, he solves the puzzle, but that's not much else going on there. So, yeah. Jawan, I feel like this was a pretty low-key episode for Jawan. If you look at the chart, he got 1 confessional. I mean, dare I say this was an under the radar for Jawan. I really don't remember a ton from him. I remember he was like there when Rizo found the idol or whatever. He said something about something being cinema. I remember that. He said he had a confessional where maybe it wasn't a confessional. Maybe it was just on the beach. He made another like reference to like another extended metaphor reference to like the movie industry. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think I might go UTR on it, but it's 2. I mean, there wasn't a ton there for Jawan. Maybe you could go middle of the road, maybe, but I felt like I remember Jason this episode more than I remember Jawan. So, Kristina. Oh boy, Kristina. Guess what, guys? This is horrible. The double goose egg in a row. No, Kristina, what's happening? Double goose egg? You're kidding me? 2 episodes in a row with 0 confessionals. She only has 2 confessionals in the whole season so far. This is absurd. What are the editors doing this season? I'm flabbergasted. I haven't seen an edit like this in American Survivor in a long time. This is wow. I mean, I've never seen a tribe be, I mean, arguably most purple tribe in the history of American Survivor. And in the 90-minute episode era, I mean, like, goodness gracious. I mean, there's really no shining people that like have great edits on the yellow tribe. I don't want to go and Viz again, I think. I mean, I do remember her talking at the challenge a little bit. Honestly, it's probably less than the previous episode, but I think I'm just going to go a UTR1. Whoops. I mean, it's the best I can do. There just was not much here for Kristina. Matt, same thing. Honestly, I think I might go in Viz, because guess what? Matt gets hit with the goose egg. No, Matt! No! Matt was the only Hina member I thought was like getting an edit. And now he gets hit with the goose egg? The goose egg? You kidding me? This is horrible. Hina, what's happening? This is just atrocious. I don't remember a second of Matt footage in this episode, quite frankly. I think I have to go and invis on it, which is that's just straightforward what it is. I mean, I do not like invisible ratings, guys. I don't. I've never used one before this season. I did not use one at all in 48. I didn't use it at all for, well, maybe I should have used it for Australia Brains Reborn too, because there probably were a lot of them. But I purposefully avoided using them. I did not use any, I don't think, for Australia versus the world. But I mean, this season, I just feel like there's just a clear difference between a UTR1 and Invisible this season. I just think I have to go Invisibles. It's just absurd. So, sorry, Matt. Invisible. MC on the upward trajectory, the only person in the Yellow Tribe that has been consistently moving upward. We get 4 confessionals here from MC, which is pretty good. She finds the idol, which is something, you know. I mean, listen. We're begging for scraps here from Hina. We really are. I don't know if is it complex on it? It's maybe complex on it. She talked about how, Steven was like her number 1. I don't think there was tone to MC here. I'm thinking probably just a complex personality 3, because, you know, I mean, that's pretty much it. She talks about how Steven's her ally. She's happy to have the idol. I mean, it's generous, the complex personality 3. I'm not going to give any tone. That's the best we got here. Nate. Good stuff from Nate. Nate's been having good stuff consistently, I think, in this season. Let's take a look at the confessional charts. Now, Nate, only 2 confessionals this episode, but it still feels like, it still felt pretty significant to me. I think I still go complex on it. He talks about being a vibe tribe. He talks about the group of 4 that has formed in his tribe that he's a part of, with Jawan and Sage on the outs. I mean, I still feel like we get some good strategic content here from Nate. I mean, I feel like it probably is not as positive as the previous episode was, so I might just go like, I probably would just go like a complex personality 3, I think, because I don't think I would go all the way, you know, it definitely was not a 4. I mean, it felt less than the previous episodes, and I only gave him 3s, so we'll go 3 on it. 3 on it. Rizo. Now, honestly, I feel like we didn't get that much from Rizo. Pretty much all I remember from Rizo this episode was him finding the idol and how he was excited about that, but I don't think it was a ton. I think I'm going to go with a middle of the road 3. I mean, we saw him, but I don't think it was like really all that fleshed out. It was mostly just kind of about finding the idol, and that was pretty much it. I didn't hear a lot about his trajectory moving on from finding the idol. I feel like I didn't actually get that much of him. It's kind of crazy that Rizzo's gotten 2 middle of roads already, but I don't think I can give better than that. You could maybe go complex, but if I'm going to go complex, I'd probably bump him down to a 2. I mean, how many confessions did he get? Let's check. Rizzo, 2. you know, not a lot. That is what it is, I guess. Sage. Now, Sage we actually did get a lot from for the first time. This was a pretty big Sage episode. We heard about her, feeling on the outs, comparing it to high school, how she wanted to kind of cause a little bit of mischief in the tribe in order to make her way in somehow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go complex. I might even go positive on it. It was kind of a positive episode for her. Oh, but it was kind of mixed though, because then like Savannah was like getting pissed at her. I might go mixed again. Complex personality mixed. It's either 3 or 4. I think I go 3 on it. It didn't feel like excessive. I mean, she gets 4 confessionals, which is pretty high for this episode. I'll go 3 on it. But a much better episode for her. Savannah, probably her weakest episode of the 3 so far. I feel like we're probably looking at another. Now, there was some positive stuff about kind of calling her big threat and whatnot. We can maybe go mixed tone. Honestly, dare I say, give her the same rating as Sage. Because it was kind of like, we got to get her out. Because she's a big threat. And she seems really good at the game. But we also got to get out because of that. So, kind of mixed in that way, I guess. That's the best I got. I think on Savannah. Shannon, I'm going to give a middle of the road to. I don't think there was tone, really. This was probably her least tone-ridden edit. Probably give her middle of the road, too. I felt like we didn't get a ton of Shannon here. She only gets 1 confessional. But I still feel like I understand where she's at in the tribe. There's still, like, kind of good stuff going on there. So middle of the road, too. It's not a terrible episode for her, but I wouldn't say it was great. Sophie B. Bam! Big episode for Sophie B. Huge episode for Sophie B. I felt like, we got a lot of content from her. I wouldn't say it was over the top, but I would say it was definitely complex. I might even go positive on it. It felt like this episode really wanted you to root for Sophie B, honestly. I think I go complex personality positive 5. This was huge. She got a ton of content here. We look at confessional charts. She gets 10 confessionals. And it felt like such a Sophie-centric episode. You could maybe go 4 on it, but it just felt like this was a very big Sophie-focused episode to me. A lot about her figuring out strategy and whatnot. I wouldn't say it's positive in the sense that it was like, oh, she's so like a good person and whatever. But it felt positive in the sense that it wanted you to root for her and that she was like doing a lot and that she was a very capable player. In the same way that I felt like there was positive stuff for Savannah, it felt like this was positive and like Sophie is like a good player that knows what she's doing. Maybe even a little bit villainous, you could say, but villainous in a positive way, I guess, which, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense, but that's how it felt to me. Sophie S. Goose egg. No! Sophie! No, my winner pick with the goose egg, not again! Oh, gosh, my chair almost broke. Goodness gracious, Sophie. My winner pick last season, Joe, he got that goose egg in episode 5, and I was like, I don't love that. I still had Joe high on my contender rankings, but I did not love him getting the goose egg. And now, episode 3, goose egg for Sophie. Completely invisible. I don't remember anything from Sophie in this episode. Just nothing going on for Sophie this episode. A devastation. This is a clear invisible rating, in my opinion. Steven, it's fine. A little bit in relation to MC, but not a lot. Probably give him middle of the road too. Got one confessional. Talked about, that MC's his number one apparently, which came out of nowhere. I thought Matt was his number one, so that was surprising to me. But hey, whatever. I guess it was something. Not much to say there. Let's just move on to the contender rankings, shall we? Because, there's just not a lot to talk about. I don't need to, drone on and on with this season. There's not a lot going on right now. So, I think I'm going to say, well, Jake and Jeremiah, obviously both very high contenders. That definitely, look, I had them both pretty high, top 6, both episodes. So, that is pretty big that they're both gone now. I think that my last place has got to be Kristina. It has to be 2 goose eggs in a row. You can't get worse than that. That's horrible. Horrible. I can't reward 2 goose eggs in a row with anything higher than dead last. You're not winning with 2 goose eggs in a row. That's just absurd. So, sorry. I will keep Jason second last. We got some content from him this episode, but not much. Especially since he's such a whiz in the puzzles. Maybe one of the best puzzlers we've ever seen on Survivor. He's been absolutely destroying these puzzles, and yet we hear nothing from him. Barely anything. Just very vague statements, a sentence here or there. We don't even hear about him being like, yeah, I won the puzzle. I feel so good that I helped the tribe. We don't even get confessionals like that. That's just so strange to me. If Jason wins, you at least put in a confessional and be like, man, I'm so glad that I solved that puzzle. Feels really good to be part of the team. That's all you need to have any hope that he could be a contender. But we don't get that. So I got to put him second last. He's lucky Kristina got... If Kristina got 1 confessional this episode, Jason would have been in last place. But the double goose egg, I had to drop down to the bottom. Sophie S. coming down. Sophie, I'm shocked that you are not lower. But, man, your tribe is so bad, you stay this high. This was a horrible episode for Sophie. We got nothing. My one defense of Sophie is that you of so little faith forget that Genevieve was dead last on almost everybody's contender rankings 3 episodes into the season. She got nothing. She had a goose egg in one of the episodes. She was completely irrelevant. And then look at her now. Who's going on Survivor 50? She's Genevieve. The Genebelievers held strong. And I'm holding out for Sophie. I'm hoping we can get a Genevieve arc for Sophie. Do I think that means that she wins? No, probably not. But she could have a big arc, still could become significant. I've seen it happen with Genevieve. So, yeah, could she be Erica? Maybe, but I don't really see it, but maybe. But it's better than the 2 below her, who I feel like have gotten just no storyline at all, despite potentially being in good positions. Sophie's on the bottom of the tribe. She doesn't have anything going on. There's not really any reason to show her. Just hide her while she's in a bad position, and then start showing her when she's in a good position. Jason's doing good stuff. Kristina's should be in a majority alliance. They should be getting more content. Sophie gets no content, but I understand it more. Geez. And then from here, it is very interesting. I think I'm going to keep MC. Yes. Her premiere is so bad. Her content in this episode was circumstantial about the idol. I just can't see her moving higher. I just, as much as I want to. Now, I will say there was one thing I noted in this episode that was significant to me for MC, where she had a confessional. She said something like, everything feels like it's just been going right for me so far in Survivor, and I hope it keeps going that way. Something like that. I was like, oh, that was an interesting confessional. Doesn't mean she wins? Maybe. Probably not. Probably means that she everything starts going not well next episode, and she gets tribe swapped and things start going badly. That'll be my guess. But it could be significant for her having a good arc throughout the rest of the season. She's on an upward trajectory. I could see her moving up further later in the season, but for now, I don't have the impetus to move her any higher. I just don't. I'm going to put Sage next. I just think Sage does not get a lot of content. She got more this time. We learned more about her, but I still think she gets voted out pretty soon because she just doesn't feel like... I just don't think that... Again, I mean, the first couple episodes were still pretty bad. I can't move her up. I just can't. I don't have any reason to. That's where she is. Now, this is going to maybe be a big move, but I'm moving Matt down. He's staying in 9th place, Matt. This was a bad episode for Matt, both in the sense that he got 0 confessionals, which I really do not like, and the next time on Survivor looked really bad for Matt, right? They really seem like people are not Matt's fans. This is the second time that we've heard, we even heard a little bit of this episode of like, don't trust Matt. Kind of want Matt gone because we don't trust him. Don't love that. Don't know why that's showing up in the edit, honestly. My biggest expectation, he probably goes out pretty soon. It's leading up to him getting booted. Does it mean he wins? Maybe, but it's this like very subtle negative content I don't like. I'm interested to see where it goes next episode. He could get a negative tone next episode. Didn't this time because he was invisible. But I don't love what's going on with Matt. Although he's gotten more content than most of the Yellow Tribe, I don't love what's going on there. Steven's going next. Steven, he's been a little bit a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. He's had confessionals every episode at least, which is apparently should be the bare minimum. But it's actually pretty impressive for the Yellow Tribe. I felt like he got a lot of setup in the first episode. He had a pretty good premiere. It was a premiere that I expected would lead to his swift downfall, but it hasn't, right? He's been fine. I think he got some good stuff in the next time on Survivor. We still kind of know vaguely about his positioning. It's not good, but there's a lot of people with worse edits. So there you are, Steven. You get to go up to 8th place somehow. Congrats. I don't even know how that happened. Jawan is going 7th. Here's why Jawan is going up to 7th. He's on a tribe that gets content. That's huge. Yellow gets nothing. Also, I feel like he still has felt like an important character. He's had a lot of motifs going on in the season. He gets that opening confessional. He's got this extended metaphor about like cinema and all that. I still feel like he is kind of an integral character, and I thought it would lead to a pre-merge vote out. However, I'm changing my mind on that. This swap changes things. Sage surpassed him this episode and maybe going out before him on that tribe. I don't think he wins at all, but he's got more of a story than anyone below him, which is at least something, okay? So he goes up to 7th because at least there's maybe an underdog arc there. He did have big edits the first 2 episodes. It's enough to get him up to 7th. Oh my gosh. I just realized who I have to put in my top 5. I don't even know. I'm going to put Shannon at 6. I can't put Shannon in my top 5. I just can't. We'll get to my predictions, but I think things aren't looking good for Shannon. She only gets 1 confessional here. I mean, she's still getting stuff, still important. Arguably more important to the story than Rizo has been, but I don't know. I see a downfall coming for Shannon, especially with this tribe swap. I just can't put her in the top 5. That's just absurd. I gotta put Rizo next. Now, here's the thing with Rizo. I honestly think Rizo's maybe been arguably the least important person on his tribe. I feel like we don't get a lot of him involved in the strategy and whatnot of the tribe. It's decent, but it's not great. I'm not like enthralled by the content. Most of his content came from that one big journey in episode 1. Even now he finds the idol and doesn't feel that significant. However, again, he's a rootable guy. He's painted well in the first episode very positively. I still think you're supposed to be rooting for him. It's not much there, but it's not as negative an edit as anyone else. Truthfully, I don't think Rizo wins, and I don't think anyone below him wins. I'm down to pretty much only 4 even reasonable contenders at this point, which is this top 4. I don't think anyone else wins. I just don't, like, their edits are all terrible. Like, this is the craziest season. I felt like last season was like, man, kind of anyone could win. It's all over the place. This season, no. I got a lot of people that are dead in the water. I would say, yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I'm not going to draw the line at one area just yet, but I really think these top 4 are the only people that I actually think have good edits that could win. I'm going to put Nate at number 4, just because he gets less content, less screen time than the other 3. But I still like what we're getting from him. I still think he's had pretty consistent stuff here. And we hear about his positioning on tribe, his view on the dynamics. The majority alliance is narrated from his perspective. We've heard about him being a rad dad. He gets some rootable content. I think Nate's got good content. I think Nate could be going very far in this thing. He's definitely got the best content. Well, not the best, but better content than everyone else, I mean. So I like where we're going with Nate. I'm going to put Alex at 3. I mean, listen, I felt weary about Alex being a pre-merge boot in the last 2 episodes. Those worries are pretty subsided at this point. We'll talk about the predictions. I think he's probably all right. I think Alex is probably here for the long haul at this point. But I still don't, like, he's gotten a lot of content. I believe he has the most confessionals so far, but I don't, he's not screaming winner to me in the way that these other 2 have had really, really good edits so far, honestly. So, good stuff from Alex. What you would expect from a solid edit in a season of Survivor. Maybe a little bit too much screen time. It's not impossible that he gets picked off soon. Unlikely, but not impossible. I'm going to put Savannah at 2. We didn't get a ton of Savannah in this episode. We didn't get a ton of any of the tribes this episode. Most of it was spent at base camp. But I felt like Savannah was fine. She, again, got good strategic content. What I really loved about Savannah in this episode was got a big speech from Sage talking about how she's like this big threat. Like, oh, Savannah. And she like lists off a bunch of reasons why Savannah's like a big threat and could win the game. Kind of spelling it out for us, honestly. But although I think that was good, I will reward Sophie for having a great episode, even better, and put her back at number 1. I had to punish her last episode by putting her down to 3 because she had a not good episode 2. She had a fantastic episode 3. We got a ton from her. She talks about how she's going to pull off a big move, how she's this great strategist, how she's figured out how to play this game in a short amount of time. And she knows what she's doing. And she's doing everything right. And she did everything right. She accomplished the job. She survived. She got 0 votes at tribal council, and in a council that was shocking that she got 0 votes. Great stuff from Sophie. I want to reward her here. I got to put her back up at number 1. Really, it's a pretty big 2-horse race between Sophie and Savannah, in my opinion. I mean, those are clearly the two front runners, I think, of the game at this moment that have gotten by far the most strategic content and have been painted in very positively or strategically positive lights. Alex and Nate, they've gotten strategic content. They're solid. The like force maybe isn't there. Like, it's not like, wow, they're an impressive player, but it is good. But Sophie and Savannah, I think, are a step above them, right? I think there's a clear top four and then a clear two in that top four at this point for me, which is Sophie and Savannah. They've gotten the most. Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go from here. So we will select our top five and plug it in over on this chart. Sophie, congrats. Sophie B making it back up to the number one spot. Rizo coming in for the first time, losing Jake and Jeremiah, who both were top five contenders for me before. Crazy shakeup to the charts. Rizo snuck in somehow, even though I did not want Rizo in the top five. Losing both Jake and Jeremiah in one episode means that Rizo does go up there. So let's talk about predictions for next episode. It's pretty hard to give clear predictions for the next episode because we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't know the clear tribe divisions. And so that makes it pretty difficult to have a good inclination of how these tribe dynamics are going to shake out because I don't know anything yet. All I have to go off of is the next time on Survivor at the end of the episode. Based on the next time on Survivor, we only see two tribes. I kind of think it might be three tribes still. Because we see a yellow buff, a Hina buff, and a Kella buff. I think it would be strange, it'd be very strange if they went down to two tribes to have Uli be the tribe that's dissolved. It's almost always been the losingest tribe of the three that gets dissolved, which is obviously Kella. Also, Kella Beach is where some guy just got bit by a snake and had to get medevac. They don't have a pot or flint or machete or nothing. It's a terrible beach. If you're going to shut down a beach, you shut down Kella Beach. That would be crazy to me if they only had two tribes and they go to Kella Beach as the one remaining beach. The snake especially, most of all. Get people off that beach, man. This is your opportunity. Which makes me think that there has to be three tribes because they have to still use that beach. That's my expectation. But we'll see. We don't know for sure. What we do know is it seems like the preview is saying that new Hina is Savannah, Rizo, Jawan, Matt, and Sophie B. We see all those people with yellow buffs in the next one, Survivor. On Blue Tribe, the Kelly Tribe, we see Steven, Kristina, MC, Shannon, and I think Alex. We just kind of saw a blue shirt. I don't know if it was Alex or not. I would assume it's Alex, but it's unclear. That's probably the five remaining, which means we have four people unaccounted for. Either those four people are split across those two tribes mentioned and we just didn't see them, or they're on a third beach that was not shown in the preview, Uli Beach, which will consist of Nate, Sage, Jason, and Sophie S. Which is probably my guess as to what's going on there. I think they're just on a different beach. They didn't need to show that beach in the preview. That's where my heart's leaning based on what I've got, but it's tough to say. As for who I think will be the boot and which tribe will lose, I'm going to just base it based on those assumptions because otherwise I have nothing to go off of. Who knows? If Yellow Tribe loses, they're making it seem like it's going to be Matt. No, we don't trust Matt. He's got to go. I don't think it's going to be Matt. I think it's too obvious. Okay? The next 7 survivors have been very, very obvious so far. It was so obvious that Annie was getting voted out in episode 2 based on the preview in episode 1. It was so obvious that Jake was going to get medevaced based on the preview in episode 2. I can't believe that they would telegraph a boot that obviously 3 episodes in a row. I have to hope and believe that Matt doesn't get voted out because it's too obvious. I would be frustrated if they made it that obvious again because this season has been so predictable so far. So if that tribe does lose and it's not Matt, I think what we did see is we saw Savannah throwing Matt under the bus to Jawan. That's what it looked like in the preview. Now we know she doesn't like Jawan. We know that she wants Jawan out. So maybe Savannah, that's all a ruse. She's just saying that to Jawan to keep him peaceful. And actually they're going to vote out and blindside Jawan. If that tribe loses, that's what I think is going to happen if it's that tribe of 5. Do I know that? No. But that's my best guess. However, I don't think that tribe is going to lose. I also don't think Uli's going to lose. We didn't see them in the preview at all. I feel like if they were going to lose, probably would have seen them in the preview if this tribe doesn't even exist, which it might not. But I mean, I think you would even give us a hint of the tribe if they did lose. If they don't exist, then they don't exist. But I think that tribe's fine. If someone does go, I think it's either Jason or Sophie probably. If out of those 4 people, if one of them goes, Nate's the only one that I think is safe. I think it could be Sage, but I think it would be more likely for Hina to go, just because I think overall it's probably more likely Hina should be the one that's voted out next because they get so little content. But based on the dynamics of these tribes, I kind of think Hina's not getting voted out in most of these tribes. So I'm not positive how this is going to play out. And then finally, that brings us to New Kella. I think New Kella is going to lose again. That's my prediction. They got bad stuff, bad beach, bad morale. Things aren't going to go well. And I think that, I think that Shannon is going to be voted out from New Kella. We saw some negativity a little bit in the preview coming from Steven towards Shannon. I think it's kind of like a big blindside that Shannon goes out at that point. Like she was in a good position and she gets swap screwed. I think it kind of makes sense for her edit so far. I do think that in some sense, I did predict Alex to be a shock pre-merge boot. However, now that we're only down to 2 Blue Tribe members remaining, we lose Jake and Jeremiah. I think Alex is chilling. I think it would be shocking to lose Alex right after we just lost 4 of the Kella members. I think that Sophie and Alex are chilling. I think that they're both safe for a while. They're the underdogs. We've had set up in this episode for the Hina versus Uli war that is supposed to be coming very soon. So it makes sense that they would go after each other in this next episode and that either an Uli or Hina would be the next to go. I think, again, I mean, Alex and Sophie are 2 of my top 3 contenders. It would be crazy to lose one of them at this point. Yeah, I think they're both safe well into the merge, honestly, at this point, is my prediction. So I think that means that the Hina members on New Kella, which would be Steven, Kristina, and MC, are going to team up. They're going to vote out Shannon in Big Blind Side. That is my prediction on what is going to happen in episode 4. I did not get it right this week. My prediction, I said I thought that Uli was going to lose and they were going to vote out Jawan, which did not happen. Kella lost again. I kind of got my predictions based on what would happen on Kella, right? But even then, I wasn't positive that Jake was going to get medevac. So, I mean, I would not count this as a win for my predictions. But we'll try and get back on track. Let's see if we can throw a crazy Hail Mary shot in the dark here, not knowing anything about the tribe dynamics, to see if Shannon is the one to go. So those are my predictions. Those are my Edgic Ratings and my Contender Rankings for episode 3 of Survivor 49. We'll see where it goes from here. It's been a unique season, I guess. Maybe not. It's been a pretty ununique season, but we'll see. I don't really have much else to say, but I love making these videos. I love having fun. If you have any thoughts on any of my ratings, please put them in the comments below. I love reading what people have to say. I definitely have like confusing thoughts, I guess, kind of about this season. So I would love to hear if people have any contrary opinions to anything I say, because I feel like pretty sure in a lot of my takes. So I would love it if people do have contrary opinions. Let me know. And yeah, that's basically all I got. Press that subscribe button if you want to see more of this. Also, go check out Survivor Northwestern Into the Gauntlet. We have a new episode last week over on there at the 9 minute. It's pretty good. So go watch that if you are so inclined. And come back for episode 4 Edgic coming next week. I have been North. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Stay frosty, y'all.